Hello, my friend, and welcome to the 478th episode of the Sales Podcast. I'm Wes Schaefer, the Sales Whisperer, your host. You're in for a treat. This lady does dating, executive dating. I don't even know how we found one another, but it was meant to be. It was in the stars. But how they go about connecting people, it's quite interesting. I've been out of the dating world for a quarter of a century. So this was interesting, but they've been around a long time. So you're in for a treat. Lisa is a pro in how dating equals sales is something you need to pay attention to. It's very similar. It's like 100% overlap. And I've even, for years, and I talk about in this episode, for years I've used a dating equals sales pipeline graphic in my presentations, and talking about the stages and how you can skip one, maybe even two. If you skip more than two, you're going to get into trouble. Okay, the odds are not in your favor. So have a system, have a process, understand how to qualify, understand how to disqualify. We get into role playing, even in dating. I mean, this is kind of crazy, but you're going to appreciate it. I had an interview this morning as well with a Brazilian black belt, Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu black belt, and his partner, who's also in Jiu-Jitsu but is in sales. Their book is coming out January 19th, so we'll be releasing that on the 19th or 20th to support the book, but a great talk with those guys. Got another book review chapter coming up with our next episode. Then Ted Jackson, crazy man. Good grief. 7 marathons in 7 continents in 7 days. I've never run one marathon. That guy has a trip. Aaron Chase is coming back on the show. I've known Aaron for many years, founder of $5 Dinners. Great story. It's great catching up with her. She had a crazy year, both good and bad. Lost her father, major flood in her home, COVID, trying to grow her business. So how she endured through that, you're going to want to hear. Karen Sproul, I've known for years, immigrant from the British Virgin Islands, or U.S. Virgin Islands, and hearing how he quit his job to become a janitor on purpose. You're going to want to hear that story. Mike Searock, that one is in the can. Overcome a lot of adversity, built a thriving business, sales training and coaching, entrepreneurship. He has a mortgage business as well. So a lot of good interviews coming up. Bob Mesta, what an amazing dude. I think he's 55 years old, if I remember correctly. Had 3 traumatic head injuries before the age of 7. He's dyslexic and cannot read. At least he couldn't early on. Still barely can. But he has helped develop over 3,500 products, written books, launched businesses, had some amazing mentors. One of the most fascinating stories I've had, most fascinating interviews in hundreds. 7.5 years I've done this. You want to check out Bob's interview when it comes live. All right. But, I talk with these people and, I'm always, 3 weeks to 2 months ahead. And the insight I get from them and, I have discussions before and after we hit record. I'm sharing those all the time. There's just unique insights when you get to speak with these people, and then adding it on top of what I'm doing day to day. That's the kind of things I share in our private coaching, in our group calls, at the Implementors, and what I'm doing in the 5. So the 5.us, launching that next one in the end of January. So check that out. The 5.us. It's a little bit more than the Implementors, of course, because it is small group. A max of 5 entrepreneurs are going to go through this for 5 weeks with me. So if you want to kick off 2021 with a bang, check that out. See if that's right for you, the 5.us. If that is above your budget, then check out the implementors.com. Every Monday, we are getting after it. Plus, there's a private group. You can ask questions and on-demand videos. So avail yourself of that material. Okay? But now let's bring on our dating expert, Lisa. Lisa Hutcherson, VP, Client Relations at Selective Search. Our listeners that are single are going to want to really listen. And I bet even our listeners that are married want to listen as well. Am I right or am I right?
You are 100% right.
I'm going to play that on loop forever and ever. Well, welcome.
Oh, I fell into that trap. Gosh, I'm so much better than that.
The Sales Whisper's putting it on.
Right.
Well, welcome to the show. How the heck are you?
I'm fantastic. Thanks for having me.
You can't be fantastic. We got a pandemic. We got election chaos. How can you be fantastic? What is wrong with you?
Right. I work in the world of love. So it's always cheerful, always positive.
I tell people I'm a flesh peddler and they're like, well, what? And I'm like, well, not that way. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, too fancy, too graphic. Back it up.
Yeah. Kind of get a rise out of them. So why the heck do I have a matchmaking executive on the sales podcast? Did you use some Jedi mind trick on me? What the heck does this have to do with selling?
Yeah, I have no idea how we came together, but you know what? I say that to everybody, and fate brings two people together and boom, we're chatting about matchmaking and everybody wants to hear about it. So
it was meant to be.
You're welcome.
Well, I tell people, it was years ago. It was, I don't even know, 6 or 7 years ago at least. And I was researching for a blog post. And I wanted to do one on like the best sales books. And I type in like top 10 sales books, something like that. And I see this long list. I'm like, oh man, I got that one, got that one. Like, I had all of them, but one. And I'm like, okay, who is this Neil Strauss guy?
Okay.
Have you heard of him?
No.
Are you familiar with the underworld of pickup artists?
No.
I wasn't either.
Not a good liar, so I'm just telling you the truth.
I wasn't either, right? So I looked it up, and it's called The Game. So I got it on my shelf. Oh, there it is.
Okay.
Rules of the game and rules of the game, I think. So I can tell my wife, I'm like, I'm ordering this pickup artist book, and it really is just for research purposes.
Sure.
He was, and is, I mean, little bitty guy. He talks about it. You see a picture, he's Jewish. He's like, I got balding head, big nose, glasses. He was a reporter. Okay. Right. And he hears about this underworld. And this is, I don't even know when. I had to go back in maybe 90s. And he flies out to LA to investigate it and becomes like the best pickup artist in the world.
Wow.
And I read his book, and it's sales 101. It is sales 101. Okay. I use dating. I even have a big pipeline, like dating equals sales, big pipeline on all my trainings. And I'll use those analogies. You know, how do you approach someone? How do you get them to even acknowledge you? Right. And then move. I always say, you got to make eye contact, right? Ask her to dance, get her phone number, go on dates 1 to 22, pick out rings, meet the parents, pick out rings, get married. I mean, there's a process, right?
But you're forgetting about the part that comes before that. How do you even find her?
Amen. Mm-hmm. So
that's the hard part.
Especially now. I don't know how people do it. I don't know how they date now. I feel sorry for people.
I know.
Guess that's where you come in, huh?
It's exactly where we come in. You know, it's never easy. But now, especially now in a pandemic, how are you going to get out there and meet anyone that you trust?
Right.
You know, that you know is smart, healthy, safe, normal, sane, beautiful. It's tough.
So how are y'all getting the word out? Because I remember, and this was probably 4 years ago, a classmate of mine from the Air Force Academy, she was newly divorced. She came up here from San Diego. We went wine tasting, and she comes back to the house, and we're asking her, like grilling her all these questions, like, are you dating, blah, blah. And she's explaining this whole swiping. Like my wife and I sat there like, okay, you got to show us this thing.
Right, right.
I don't remember what app she had, but I'm like, this is how you get dates. And like 2015, 2017, whenever it was. I'm like,
Not good
oh my
one.
God, I felt so bad. Yeah.
Yeah. And those are hundreds of
Oh
options.
man.
There's 10, 20 different apps. And then within each app, it becomes a part-time job just to manage it all, and all for nothing, usually nothing.
Mm. Are people more defensive, more on guard now than before? And maybe not even with the pandemic, obviously it changes things, but like, how long have you been doing this?
Well, selective search has been around 25 years.
Uh-huh.
I've been here 5 plus. Yeah, I mean, we kind of have to leave the pandemic part out of it just for a second. And I'd say people are just a little bit less trusting as people become more insular, busy, just being more on social media and using apps versus meeting people the old fashioned way, or being set up by a friend that they could trust. Just really everything's changed. And the more we move forward, it just becomes harder and harder to meet somebody of quality. You can always date. Our clients don't have a hard time getting a date. They can date on their own through all the apps that you mentioned, but to meet somebody of quality, somebody that's going the distance, that is really tough. And that's where we come in and help.
Very nice. How are y'all growing? How are you getting the word out?
Right.
What challenges are you seeing? Because like I said, some of our listeners, I mean, they're married, right? They
Right.
they don't need your services. I don't need your services.
But they know someone who does.
Sure.
Yeah.
But from a business and sales standpoint, what are you seeing, right? How are y'all growing now?
It's tough because 20 years ago, sorry about that, my computer's doing its own thing. 20 years ago, we didn't have competition either, so as these apps are being developed, people have more and more options as far as how to meet somebody. So we have seen a change, a definite skew from, us being one of the only ways to now there's Match.com, OkCupid, eHarmony, Zeus, Talkify, I could go on and on, some that we've never even heard of. So to set ourselves apart, we really try to market to a higher caliber individual. So we've been on the cover of the Wall Street Journal 4 times. We're usually in all the airline magazines, of course, not now in COVID because there aren't any. Mm-hmm. But, Google is still a good way. A lot of references, word of mouth, places like The Economist, Bloomberg, Business Weekly. And, we try a lot of different things too. We used to be at a lot of events or host events or, just be out in the field, but, that's changed up obviously over the last couple months. But we'll be out there again.
Right. How did you get on the Wall Street Journal 1 time, let alone 4 times?
Well, our founder, Barbie Adler, is the best matchmaker in the world. And, when you've been around as long as Selective Search has, it's just an interesting story. And dating, relationships, it's something that everybody can relate to. So, to be in the dots on the cover of the Wall Street and talk about dating in COVID or in a recession. I mean, we've lived through a lot of different things. It's not just a pandemic. I mean, look at, 2008 and how are we going to survive that? Or how are people going to, find a life partner then? So we're called upon, when it makes sense to talk about finding love, even Valentine's Day every year, it raises a flag.
Right. So, a lot of our listeners may be going through some of the same things. Like, just because you're the established one doesn't mean you get the business by default.
Absolutely not. Fighting for it.
Yeah. So how have you evolved, right? I mean, how do you stand apart with all of these apps? Because do you subscribe to the dating apps? I guess, are they free? Are they free for the women and the men pay?
No, they're not free. No, people, it's monthly subscriptions, but it's a completely different price point, a completely different product. So yeah, it's you get what you pay for industry. And we definitely tout that, as I'm sure some of your viewers also would say. So for $30 a month on, a dating app, you get X. with selective search, you actually retain us over the course of a year, and you've got a team of people spearheaded by an actual live person, your matchmaker, who's leading you through an amazing journey to find love. So there's absolutely no comparison. And that's where we step in and say, we differ. And here's why: we deliver. This is not just throwing paint against a wall and hoping that we get lucky and that something sticks. This is actual, very efficient, precise matchmaking, totally different. So that's exactly what we say, is that we're completely different.
Are people embarrassed, or
that they need
shy?
us?
What's that?
That they need us. I mean, sometimes it's
right.
They can't believe, and I'll hear that, like, I cannot believe I'm talking to a matchmaker. I never thought I would be talking to a matchmaker. But honestly, we think our clients are brilliant for outsourcing their love life. You outsource other things. You outsource your legal. You outsource your accounting. I'm not doing my own accounting. Let the experts in.
All right. And, look, The Bachelor is only like 2 months. So why do I need a whole year?
You want to know the percentage of success on The Bachelor? 0.001, maybe. I don't know.
They're all fighting to be there. It must be really good.
Yeah. I think they're fighting to be there for alternate reasons, but yeah, because you get more than one introduction. That's the bottom line. And we give you enough time to make sure that you'll have success. Doesn't mean that you're going to take all that time. Right now, about a third of our clients fall in love with the first person we introduce them to. So are they with us for 10 months to a year? No, but they know they have it in case we're moving on to a second intro or possibly a third. So it's the right amount of time. And of course, after sending 4,000 plus people through the process successfully, we've come down to a great formula.
Very cool.
It is.
So, I just want to dig in on that, like on the differentiation, because I love the concept of, marketing to the affluent. I mean, go where the money is, right? Don't back down from, I tell people I'm a reassuringly expensive copywriter,
Right.
I tell them, the only time you'll cry with me is when you write the check. After that, it's all good. You're going to get more than you paid for.
Exactly.
But how do y'all differentiate, or how do you get that message out? Is the price, out on the website, or do they have to go through an application and kind of show some commitment?
Go through it. Yeah, no, the price is not out there for all to see because it's custom. So it's not one size fits all. You might tell me that your search parameters are very narrow. You only want to date a certain religion, or say someone that's on the same page as you politically, or you don't want to date outside of your metropolitan area, and the more narrow someone gets, obviously the harder the search is, and complexity is definitely built into your price tag and your program. But we are getting across to you the value. I even have some people say to me, oh my gosh, it's priceless. If you can introduce me to the love of my life, I would write you a check for $1 million right now, to not have to go on another bad date, to not spend a year of your life, in and out of 3 relationships and have it end up with nothing. So it's a priority, it's putting a price tag on your future. It's an investment. And that's how we look at it. It's an investment in your future.
Do you encourage them, or do you find that it's basically like, go try the rest, so when you're tired of that, come to the best sort of thing? You know what I'm saying? Like,
they've usually already done that. They're usually
been there, done that. Or like, okay, I'm ready.
Right. Or
right.
A lot of times they've been through a really nasty divorce. They've just given away half of their net worth. They don't want to be in divorce court again. So we are most definitely protecting people from making a bad decision. Some people, they'll just say, my picker's off. I'm handing it over to you guys. It's time to let somebody else do the picking.
Wow. And everybody is on the site. I mean, you're matchmaking people that are on the site, right?
Only our matchmakers. When you're a client, you're not swiping and looking at.
Right.
Yeah.
But like if I was single and I applied,
Mm-hmm.
you would find me a woman that is also a client of yours.
No.
Oh.
The person that you meet, you're the client.
Right.
The
Okay.
person that you would be introduced to, we kindly refer to as the candidate. And she might be a paying client as well. She might be somebody that we know personally. She might be somebody that we actually go out and actively recruit to find based on your interests or your area. Yeah. Or luckily for us, we have a proprietary database of over 250,000 single women, 250,000 that over the years have given us their information, and they're in our pool. And we can, of course, tap into that pool. No one else can. It's Selective Search's pool, and we can look. So we have information down to whether or not they're allergic to a cat, so we know everything about these people, and we can dig in and see who we already know. And obviously that's a logical place to look. Very high caliber people. These are business owners. They are physicians, attorneys, just absolutely stellar women that happen to be single.
So let's talk about first impressions.
Sure.
How'd
I do?
Hey, you're doing great. I do like your picture, right? You got two action shots. One's color, one's black and white. I like them both.
Yeah.
But like with these, dating and talk about sales and dating and that first impression, and now so much is online. How should people come across? I share the video of this podcast. Should I be in a suit? Should I be in a polo? Or, hey, stay in a t-shirt and don't shave, because that's how I normally am anyway, right? What do you see nowadays?
You got one shot. We always say it's an old cliche. You got one shot to make that first impression, and we want you to be in peak dating form, even if it's a Zoom call for your first date, in the middle of a pandemic. You absolutely need to look the part, dress the part, and act like you're going out on a real date. So we pre-approve all photography and sometimes send people out to get new photography, because we're your advocate. We are presenting you in the absolute best light and making sure that you're successful with the person that we're introducing you to. So you got to put some effort into it. It's still dating, chivalry's not dead.
So in business, you're saying I should maybe show some chest hair and get the gold chains back out, huh? I mean, I'm kind of manly that way.
I'm sorry, what is your business? Yeah, that would depend.
All right. So photography and things like that. That makes sense.
Yeah.
Do you try to grow horizontally? Do you have like affiliate relationships with photographers in the big cities?
Absolutely. In many cities. Yeah. So we have a client in Philadelphia. We know somebody that we can suggest to you. We tell people where to take their dates. So your matchmaker is your strategist. She's your advocate. She's your friend, but she's your dating coach. So
what's this she stuff, huh? Men can't coach. Okay, probably not. All right.
Nope.
So continue.
Sorry. Nope. All of our matchmakers are 100% female.
Very nice.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And you know what? Hey, amen. I think back like 25 years of marriage. I don't know where to take my wife. Mainly because she's just picky. She doesn't like much food. So I'm like,
easy, stay home.
Yeah. So I do know they're just very simple places.
Yeah. But no, we obviously have clients in every city around the country, some internationally. And so, to be able to tell our Miami clients the new hot spot to go, or sometimes our clients are meeting in different places that aren't their hometowns. So a client from Raleigh might be meeting his significant other. She's in Cleveland. They might meet in Chicago, if they're both there on business. So then we're making suggestions on how that can happen seamlessly. It's all part of it.
How do you help them calm the jitters, right? Because I deal with salespeople that it's a big sale, right? Yeah. So these people, it's a big sale. They're probably nervous, haven't dated in a while, maybe.
Yeah. Well, we even do mock dates. If somebody's been married for a very long time and now maybe widowed or recently divorced and they just don't know the dating world, then we actually set up a mock date. They might even go out and take their own matchmaker out on a lunch date or something so that we can work with them on overcoming exactly what you're talking about, just that uneasiness.
Do any of the matchmakers ever just fall in love with their client? Only
our founder.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah. She broke her own rules. There's absolutely no dating clients. It's a law within Selective Search. But Barbie actually, she herself married a client and he was very persistent. And she said, absolutely not. I have a very strict rule, no dipping into the candy jar, so to speak. And he said, guess what? I quit. And he gave up his membership and married the boss.
Nice.
Awesome story. Yeah.
I haven't flown in a long time. Well, when I fly, I flew in August, but overall I don't fly all that much. But I think I've seen them in those magazines.
You have definitely seen Barbie Adler in all the airline magazines. Yeah, dating way back, to probably 2005.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Yeah, that and Chester Karras Negotiations. I don't see him anymore though.
Well, this is way more fun.
they were big time advertisers.
Funny. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, and I tell people when I was an employee, right, I usually would roll my eyes at the role playing, usually because it was terrible, whereas in my group training, we do it all the time. And I hammer it home, but I do very good, realistic role playing.
Mm-hmm.
You've got to go through it a few times. So
practice.
So you kind of know what to expect and kind of relax and
well, we also offer, a lot of feedback. And so it's not like we just send you out on a first introduction and hang out to dry. Monday mornings are busy and matchmakers are checking in on all their clients that were out on the town with their new person. And, we want to hear everything, not only from the client side and how it went, but we're getting feedback from the person that you went out with as well. And so, if you didn't hold open the car door or all you did was talk about your dead dog or, whatever it may be, we're going to tell you about it. It's our job. It's our job to give you feedback and make sure you're successful and don't make any mistakes twice.
Hey, he was a great dog though. I'm
So
gonna put a picture of Decker. I'm putting a picture of Decker on your post.
Okay. That sells. We'll both be out of business. There's a dead dog.
I mean, I'll show a picture when he was living.
Okay.
Oh man. Yeah, that's so true. People, they have such low situational awareness. And is that just innate? I mean, even salespeople, they'll miss the obvious. I'm like, dude, did you hear what they just said? Well,
they just said yes. Yeah.
I'm like, let's rewind the tape.
Yeah.
Talk about outkicking the coverage. Like you sold right through the sale. Like, come on, why are we such bad salespeople once we become adults? Right? I still got a 6-year-old. She can sell anything. She gets whatever she wants. But somewhere between 6 and 26, we can't sell anymore. What's the deal?
I think we stopped listening. You have to listen.
What?
Mm-hmm. Not falling for it.
You go. Almost got you.
Almost. Smarter than I look.
Yeah, but I got to talk. I got to tell you how great and wonderful and smart I am and funny and quick-witted and think on my feet and I can quote like things in Latin and stuff. I need to impress you, right?
Yeah, you kind of do. If you're the person I'm interviewing to become a client, it's an invitation only situation. So we interview everybody. And yeah, I mean, there's a first impression, even with me, you have to tell me everything about you, but I'm asking. And it's one of the rare times in life that I do want to know everything about you. And I do want to know about your preferences in a partner. And I do want to know about your parents and are they still together and your kids, your divorce, your past relationships, cover it all.
But once they're on that date,
shut up.
They should probably Exactly.
No.
Zip it. You ain't paid by the word.
Yeah. If you want there to be a second date, yeah.
Nice. And then, so what was the percentage you said? Average within 10 months, they find someone, or what was
Yeah,
it?
so about a third of our clients fall in love with the first person that we introduce them to. It doesn't mean they don't go on and maybe meet a second or third person, but they do end up with that first person. Half of our clients are done with our program by the fourth intro. So they meet 4 people, fall in love, tell us to get lost. They don't want to continue on. They're happy with so-and-so and they don't want to meet anyone else. So usually programs include more than that. Usually it's, around the 7 or 8 mark of introductions, but people just don't use them. They don't need them because this is precise. It's not dating, it's not looking at hundreds of profiles and swiping and poking and sending messages that never get returned. Each one of these people that we even suggest to you has been hand chosen.
So you don't have your trade.
What?
Oh, I'm sorry.
Nope.
What was that?
All right. I just said our clients are really looking for the efficiency of that. They
Sure.
can date. They can date all they want on their own. They're great guys, but to have it be efficient.
Right.
Yeah.
How are you getting the word out now? You mentioned, obviously not doing trade shows. People aren't flying. How have you shifted your sales
Social
and marketing
media.
dollars and effort?
Yeah, social media has been huge. So we're absolutely each individually on LinkedIn and doing a lot of outreach that way. We advertise on Facebook, which is great when it's getting to the right demographic. I mean, personally, we all have very large networks of individuals that we know. And Google, Google is never going away. And anyone who would Google high-end or confidential matchmaking, hopefully we're still first and foremost as far as what comes up, but everybody's on their devices, especially in COVID. Everybody is sitting in front of a laptop all day long. So that's where you got to be.
Right. So you mentioned LinkedIn. I mean, are you, it's a touchy subject, right? So how are you reaching out to people
individually?
Just connecting and then kind of letting them go, oh, wow, what do you do? Because it's kind of weird. You don't know if I'm married or not on my LinkedIn profile.
You're exactly right. No, It's very touchy, but everybody knows somebody, that we might be able to help. And I was once involved with a LinkedIn guru who said, the whole purpose of LinkedIn is anyone who comes to your page should leave better off than when they started. So if they come to Lisa Hutcherson on LinkedIn, they should leave my page feeling better or learning something, not being sold something. Obviously LinkedIn doesn't just want people selling. So to make posts about health and wellness, and how a relationship is above all else, it's first and foremost for longevity, for living a healthy, happy lifestyle. You can work a lot of different angles to make sure that people are coming to you. And then you can outreach individual DMs or, inbox or whatever to reach people and just say, if you or anyone in your network is single and looking for long-term love, then give me a call.
Right.
And people are so gracious, they'll say, oh my gosh, I'm going to tell all my friends about you. Or maybe I should ask my wife, which is, I love those responses. They're so tongue in cheek funny. It's funny.
Do you have all of your people make their own content, or do you have content that they just share?
Both. We have, a group within Selective Search that's continually creating content, and we can all use it. Some of us are creative and, marketers in our own brain and think that we can come up with things. And but content's hard, to do it right. You've got to be continually out there and really getting in front of people a couple times a week. And so, you do have to get creative about it, but we're big on inspirational quotes and, why love is important and why partnership is important and take the leap type things and, don't get in your own way. So plenty to put out there.
Do you find most people have it's a big facade, right? Like what you see is not quite what you get. You know, they have this
Facebook?
demeanor, and then you get them on the phone, like, oh yeah, dude, you're not what you're portraying online.
Well, we can kind of read between the lines. You know, you talk to hundreds, if not thousands of people every month. We have a really good innate sense of humans and human nature. And
right.
Yeah, can't really hide behind us. We see you.
Yeah. I see you. I see dead people.
The role of matchmaker is also that of, you know, psychologist, therapist. You know, it's all part of the same gig, and our matchmaking staff, they are an amazing team, also very intuitive. So, and it's, you know, it's not just a quick sales cycle of an hour. It's much longer. You know, I know people that inquired originally in 2010, and I'm still talking to them to see if the timing's right. Do they financially have the money? Are they all settled in their new home in Denver? You know, there's a lot that goes on in people's day to day that it might not be the right time.
Right. Yeah, that's good how do you get the close, right? Is it a very natural process? Do you nudge your people, you know, your staff, like, hey, go for it, you know, or because like I always tell people, my dirty little secret is I hate sales. I don't like the old school traditional tit for tat, quid pro quo. You got to get 5 no's before you get to yes. Like, dude, if I'm doing it right, it's like they call, short conversation, clarify some things, make sure I'm a real person, blah, blah, blah. All right. So how do you want to proceed? It's like, well, how do I get started? Let me send you a link. You know, it's like that's when I know I did it right.
Yeah. Yeah.
You know?
No, we used to say, well, I used to be in the world of philanthropy, and we always said about philanthropy, if you do it right, they're coming to you, right? You don't want to hound people and get in their face. Some people need nudging, and I'm talking, you know, outbound. So any kind of prospects that seem to get in their own way, or they just can't get over that hump of, you know, making the spend and investing in themselves. You know, every single case is different, because I'm not selling a Xerox machine. I'm not selling an actual product. I'm selling hope, you know, the hope that they're going to have a partner. So this is a completely different fruit.
It is, but you know, I would argue that just about anything we sell, we're selling hope to some degree.
Yeah, I guess.
Mm-hmm. Right.
Yeah. My product is.
But yeah, it's different.
It's different. It's not, you know, and everyone will
personal.
Say, there's no guarantee. I'm not doing this. There's no guarantee. You're asking me for X amount of dollars. There's no guarantee. And I was like, you're absolutely right in some respect. I cannot guarantee that 2 people are going to fall in love. And anyone who can guarantee that, run. Do not give them your money. That's absolutely ridiculous. But we do guarantee that they're going to meet amazing people. They're going to meet people that fit all their criteria. You know, we do guarantee certain things. So it's just a prioritization, and, you know, each person, there's a different trigger that might close the deal, you know, whether it's, they don't want to be alone forever, or a best friend's just passed away at 62. They know life is short. You know, you never know, but you have to relate to each individual one-on-one. You know, every call is different. Right. Every day is different. So chameleon.
There have been no rabbits put in a pot, right?
Not yet.
All right, you don't have to answer that. You know the reference, right?
Oh yeah, Glenn Close client in 2001. No. Yeah, no, I know the reference. Nah, that's the fun part about this. But you know what? The bunnies are boiling if you get online, because you don't know these people. You don't know them from Adam.
Yeah.
But when you're offline, when you're with a high-end matchmaker, then both parties are known. We know you.
Right.
We really get to know people. So no crazies.
Yeah. Very cool.
It is.
So
really
for
is.
our single people, or for our married people who know single people,
right?
Where should we send them? Where should they go?
Yeah, you should go directly to me. My landing page online, that's the easiest way, selectivesearch.com/Lisa, Lisa.
Okay.
So that's super easy. Happy to hand out an email address, which is super easy as well, lisa@selectivesearch.com. But yeah, do reach out. We do amazing work. Nothing else like it out there, especially right now. It's not like you're randomly talking it up with somebody at Starbucks or the grocery store. There's no such thing. You've got a mask on. People are weary and suspicious and, just a little bit more negative out and about.
Yeah, it's crazy.
It's crazy.
I hate going through drive-throughs. And I was with my wife. We dropped our, she's 16 now. Just turned 16. Good grief. All these kids.
Yeah.
All these birthdays. She's working at Baskin Robbins, right? So it's like,
that was my first job.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah. That's hilarious.
They've all worked. I mean, it's been cool.
You got a future matchmaker on your hands.
Yeah, I might. She's smart.
Yeah, but even if we say to our clients, you're not just going to go sit at a corner bar.
Yeah.
Guess what? Your girl's not sitting there. She's busy. She's got a family. She's got a career. She's not sitting there waiting for you to walk in. Got to be more proactive.
Some kind of bar. I meet a buddy of mine at a bar. I don't know, twice a month. Mm-hmm. And it's small. They got a pizza joint attached to it, but it's a nice little like sliver, like narrow. And so we go for happy hour on. Well, even have happy hour. We're going Friday night. Like 4:30, and there are always we laugh. We sit in the same spot and right by the curve, and there's always a good-looking realtor. It just so happens to be because it's small, so everybody hears the conversations. We always talk, and I'm like, Kevin, there's always good-looking realtors. What's the deal? But so some do kind of sort of go out, but
but it's probably not the type of person that if your friend is single, that's probably not his girl. If she's the one that's sitting there, who knows? There's always the outlier. You never know. But
I would hate to be dating right now.
But even if you do meet somebody that way, you're starting at ground zero. You don't know a thing about them. When you meet somebody through Selective Search, your first date's going to feel like you've known each other for a very long time. You know everything about one another, and that just makes it super exciting and a lot less fearful, to already be comfortable with somebody before you ever see them.
I met my wife at a country bar. So, it can happen.
Two-stepping? Yeah, it can happen.
Two-stepping.
It can happen.
She asked me to dance. She went every Thursday night with her dad and her brother.
So cute. Great story.
3 months of dating, and then we were married.
Wow.
And then we moved with the military.
When you know. I'm a military. I was an Air Force baby.
Yep, I was Air Force.
I know. Yeah, you mentioned. That's awesome.
Crazy. All right. So let's tell them again. selectivesearch.com/Lisa.
Correct.
Right. And Lisa@selectivesearch.com is your email.
Yep.
So, fellas, I get if the ladies are listening, can they reach out or
absolutely?
How does that work?
Yeah. So two sides to the program. Our client program. That is the person that we are working for. That person retains us, and that person could be male or female. We have many female clients that pay us to find their guy. So the other half of the equation is the candidate, and that person is, most likely in that dating pool. So, but you know what? Just reach out to me no matter what, and I can send you in the right direction. Hopefully you want to take that proactive step and become a client, and that is the surefire way to find love.
Just don't let the ladies see my picture. Okay. They'll realize I'm taken. They'll be sad.
So sad and disappointed.
Don't break their heart. Okay. Just
we got your body double. We got your clone.
Dang. All right. And on that note, I don't know. I think, I hit delete. I forgot to record all. I'm so sorry.
Very fun.
All right.
You're fun.
Hutcherson, all the way. We'll say Chicago for now. I wish leave it at Chicago, the Windy City. Thanks for coming on the show. It's been great.
Yeah. Thanks so much.
All right. Have a great day.
Bye.
I told you were in for a treat. How do you differentiate and sell your value? Every market is noisy and busy right now. People are less trusting. Okay. How do you set yourself apart? Go where the money is. Dan Kennedy has written a book about that and talked about it for so many years. Market to the affluent. Okay. Understand the value you bring, and don't be afraid to go, raise your prices, customize them if you need to. Okay. And be paid according to your value. But I've always said people will pay for two things: exclusivity and experiences. The more you charge, the more you're able to provide that. All right. Understand the role you play in sales. I've always talked about, great salespeople are some of the most well put together people on the planet. You're a therapist. You're empathetic. You know how to listen. You know how to read between the lines. You know how to connect the dots. You know how to persuade and convince, how to comfort, how to negotiate. Don't underestimate the value you bring to your company that you can provide for yourself. Okay. Sales is a big deal. So if you want to get better at that, like I said, the 5 is rolling out again in late January, the 5.us. And if your budget can't quite swing that, then join us in the implementors.com. Invest in yourself. I guarantee you'll be glad you did. Thanks for listening. I'll go sell something.